Hello, we have received a package in the mail. This package contains the action camera, the SJ4000. Now this is supposed to be kind of a GoPro competitor, and we're going to test it out in the next couple of weeks and give you the results, what we think about the camera. But now we're just going to do the unboxing video and see what the package actually contains and what the camera looks like in the inside once we open it. So we have a knife, which I don't know how to operate. And just tear apart the box, the wrapping, and here inside we have the new SJ4000. Now on the back part of the box you would see actually all the different details and all the specs of the camera. Now this camera does have an upgrade that we haven't installed yet. I mean, we got it with probably the first version of the firmware, so we'll need to also update it in order to record different time lapses and different options that this camera is capable of doing after the firmware update. So we'll probably make a video also about that, about how to update the firmware and how to get this camera better. Now in this camera you could get it in a variety of colors. I didn't really check what color I'm getting. I got color white. Nothing great, nothing bad. We're going to open the camera and see what we get inside. So once we pull out the camera, we get a box, which is always nice. And here it is. The camera is inside of the little underwater case. Nice camera inside. Now this opens like the previous version of the GoPro with the kind of springy thingy open. And the camera's opened and it won't come out easily like the GoPro. You need to actually work on getting it out. And this is the camera. So the outside case feels pretty sturdy, pretty well built. The camera itself feels pretty cheap, nothing great, not great quality, but not as cheap you would think it would be for $100. But what's fun about it, with the camera we get all these different variety of stuff. So let's just go over them quickly. We get a manual which would actually teach us in Japanese, if you know Japanese, or Russian apparently, about all the different little parts, all the different little things that this camera has inside. The different adapters, it would tell us what each adapter is, what each part is. So you could actually see this. No one actually bothers reading it. I don't think I would, especially that I don't know how to read. So that goes in the box, and now let's see what we have. So we have all of these adapting parts which connect to the camera. Now all these parts are very similar to the GoPro parts, what we would usually get with the different GoPro things that we would get. Now we have in here a USB cable. It's a micro USB cable, very standard cable. You get it with almost every phone, every new technology thing. We get the cable. Next up we have these kind of 1/4 inch screw parts which connect together, and they connect somehow to the camera's case. We have it seems like the opened back door to the camera, or it's just maybe a spare. Oh no, this is the opened back door to the camera. Now the difference between this one and the waterproof one, which I don't know actually how to change between them yet. This one has actually 2 slots on the side which we could slide in some straps or different things in order to hold the camera from the back of it. Of course that would block the back screen, which is not that great of a quality either, so you just need to frame the shot and then you could block it and have fun. We have the bicycle mount, which would actually mount on a bike or on a bike handle, different. This is pretty useful, especially for these kind of action cameras. We have the power adapter, which would give us power to charge the camera. We have these buckle things that click onto the camera's mount, and we have the camera's mount. Actually, I'm not sure. Oh, no, this is actually the camera's mount, so the camera goes into this little piece of thing, I guess, if it gets in there. Yeah, the camera gets into this little piece of thing. It's held in here pretty well. And then we connect to this 4/3, this quarter adapter. We could connect all the different adapters and all the different parts and gizmos that come with the camera. In this little packet, which I'll open, we get 2 of these sticky thingies, which you could stick on your either helmet or anywhere you want with the double-sided tape, and these would actually screw into the bottom of the camera, and then you could get shots from different angles. So we have one that's a little more curved, and then we have the flat one, depending on your needs. And it's nice that you get so many different parts with this little camera, and for the cheap price you pay for it. We have this clip adapter, this clip connector, which we could connect the camera to, and we have these other turny connectors which turn around. Next up, we get a cloth, a cleaning cloth. You could use this as a handkerchief, but we just use it as a cleaning cloth. It's great for glasses, for lenses. You don't want to clean lenses that have dust on them because that might scratch the lens, but just cleaning fingerprints off lenses or off glasses, this always works well, and I just clean my glasses for free, courtesy of the SJ4000 camera manufacturers. Next up, we have some of these bandy things, which I don't know what they're in here for, but they're in here for free, so I'm not complaining. We have a little metal wire connector, which connects to something. Doesn't look like the camera has anywhere to connect it, but probably could connect to some of the adapters, some of the stuff, and we could use it probably somehow to hold the camera. That won't be so risky. We have 2 more free pieces of the double-sided tape in case we mounted these double-sided mounts and wanted to change them. And we have 3 straps that would help us connect the camera with the opened back door, and they would 4 straps that would actually help us connect the camera to different adapters, different things, connect them around different stuff. So this is always nice to have. Now all of these components and all of these little parts that come with the camera, they're very similar to the parts that come with the GoPro. Needless to say, a lot of the parts that do come with the GoPro would actually fit to this camera. So if you're looking for replacement parts, you could always just get probably GoPro parts and just connect them to this camera. So this camera is 1/3 of the price of the GoPro, and we're going to turn on the camera just to see how it turns on. And it says welcome. And the camera's on. Powers up pretty fast, and it has the different menus, the different buttons on the side, which we could actually play with, get into the settings. We'll need to make a firmware update just to see how this camera acts. Now, just for the fun of it, we're going to take a short video here of all these gizmos and little parts that are on the table, just to show you, give you an example of the quality. I'll also change to the camera's sound just to hear the camera's audio. This is with no cases on. I hope I'm not blocking the microphone. So these are actually the parts that are coming in with the camera. Okay, so this is the SJ4000. This is in 1080p. Now, this does 1080p at 30 frames a second by what I remember, or what I read. It's MP4 format, and it uses micro SD cards. And this is enough of this video. So, now, of course, if we'll just power off the camera, goodbye. We get here on the side of the camera, we actually have a HDMI connector, the micro USB connector, and the little micro SD card spring-loaded, which we could add and remove a SD card, whichever we please. It doesn't come with a SD card, and I just touched the camera's lens. It doesn't come with a SD card, but they're pretty cheap. You could get them it probably doesn't need such a high class SD card, especially because the files, I don't think they're that huge and that they need to be written that fast into the camera. On the top we have the OK button, on the front we have the power button, on the side we have the two up and down buttons, which actually give us the different, to scroll between the different options, and we're going to make a different video about that later. So we'll see you in the next video, and stay tuned for more videos and the different reviews that I'll do in the next few weeks about this SJ4000, and we'll see if it actually is worth the price, if the price is right for these cameras. Again, around $100. They come from China, they have free shipping, and they should be great. By all the reviews I saw and by what I found out about this camera, they're not that bad. So we'll see that later.